Hello friends, this is CA Purnima Nagpal, and I have recently cleared the registered valuer examination of IBBI for the securities and financial asset class. So I'm recording this video for the help of all my friends who are trying to appear for this examination. And first of all, I would like to say, friends, there is a misconception regarding this examination that it is very tough and it's very difficult to clear. There is no such thing like that, and anybody can clear. The important thing here is that you need to concentrate more for clearing this examination, because in this examination for securities class especially, I can say, because I have cleared this exam recently, that you need to have conceptual clarity of all the topics which are mentioned in the syllabus topic wise. You have to go through the entire syllabus and you have to read word by word the contents of the syllabus, and then you have to do. If you talk about my experience, so initially I was also shattered and felt demotivated because in a couple of attempts, in initial 1 or 2 attempts. So if you want to say, if you are a really very good in valuation, or you are already also you are doing valuation only, you are working in that profession, then it's very simple, it's like a cakewalk for you. But if you are new to the field of valuation, or you are a CS or CA not doing valuation stuff, then you have to actually study for the basic concept, and then within a not a very longer time frame, you can really prepare well for this examination. So if I would say the total time period you would require for this, it depends, but I would say 200 hours of self-study is really required for this, and you have to be very sure about the contents of the syllabus. You have to be very sure, because you have to go by each word which has been mentioned in the syllabus given by the IBBI. So as you all know that for the registered valuer who want to appear now, the syllabus is in effect, which is applicable, is in effect from 1st June 2020. The revised syllabus is applicable for everyone. It is in news also that the syllabus will be revised soon, but that is not sure, because as you know, as per the valuation rules, whenever IBBI wants to change its syllabus, it has to inform, it has to display it at least 3 months before. 3 months before, it has to inform the participants or the interested persons. So as of now, no notification has come regarding the change of syllabus. So for all whosoever wants to apply for examination, the syllabus is applicable from 1st of June 2020. So if I talk about how to study regarding this paper, all I can say that you have to be very sure with the concepts, because very basic concepts can also be asked in the examination. There is no hard and fast formula that only the technical things will be asked. So if you want some clarity, please do Google, do Investopedia, read Investopedia, Wikipedia, and all these websites to be sure on the concept. You can make also, if you have considerable time, you can also make handwritten notes of your own, so that it can also be referred for future references. And but the clarity regarding each and every aspect mentioned in the syllabus is actually required. You cannot clear this examination without practicing or without learning about the concepts. And the entire paper, as you all know, that is of 100 marks. 80 questions will be asked. 90 questions will be asked, 80 questions will be of 1 marks, and 10 questions will be of 2 marks each. So it will be a 100 marks paper. 60 marks you need to procure for clearing this examination. 20 marks, the 10 questions which are of 2 marks each. 20 marks has been earmarked for numerical portion. And regarding numerical, I would say that it is not very difficult for anyone to clear to do the numerical part, because I am not that much good in the practical numerical portion. But with practice, I have also downloaded the Apache Open Office, as in my center. And the Chandigarh Center, Apache Open Office is available only. So you have to be well versed with the format and the cells and keys of that. Although there is not so much of difference between Open Office and Excel, but to be on the comfortable front, you have to be well versed with the open office also. So you can, for practice also, you can download the freely available software of Apache, and then you can practice your numericals on there. So if I talk about numericals, numericals are quite predictable. They are available with various groups, valuation study groups you have, or else I can share with you also the practicals if you want. So practicals are available and they are predictable. Regarding theory portion, the 80 marks question, they are actually not predictable. They can ask from anywhere from the entire syllabus. You have to read each and every concept definitely with with according to the weightages given in the exam. So you have to be very sure with the concept whatever you are doing. So friends, without wasting much of time, let's go through the syllabus which has been notified by IBBI for the registered valuers, securities and financial asset class. You can see that this syllabus has been notified on 28th February 2020 and it was applicable with effect from 1st June. So there is a time gap of 3 months as per the rules. So whenever a syllabus is changed, there has to be a time gap of 3 months between the notification date and the applicability date. So be assured about it. In case there is any change in the syllabus, the IBBL will inform you well in time. So syllabus wise coverage, if we see, so in macroeconomics, I would say they want to judge the basic knowledge of yours, and not very advanced or technical aspect will be asked from this, and it has a weightage of 3 marks. And if we talk about my preparation, I have studied this from ICSI material, because ICSI has covered this entire macroeconomics in just 24 pages, and I have read the concept once, all the 24 pages, and then they highlighted the key points and then revised them as and when required. So it is not a 3 marks are very easily scoreable. They are not very tough to be grabbed. So let's come to second topic, which is finance and financial statement analysis. This carries a weightage of 6 marks, and in this they just basically want to judge your basic concepts of finance, that is time value of money, capital budgeting decisions and all. The terms that has been covered in this part are not very technical, and you can easily score 6 marks here, provided you are thorough with the basic concept of all of these. So you need to be very sure about the contents, what each and every content like IRR and average rate of return, accounting rate of return, whatever the terms are there in this syllabus, the mention in the syllabus, you have to be very sure about that. And regarding this also, ICSI material is sufficient, I would say. I think there is 20 odd pages in that regarding the financial system analysis, and they are sufficient if you go through each and every concept mentioned there. So they have covered the 100% syllabus from IBBI. Third is the very key, I would say, thing which you have to be very sure. You have to have at least 5 or 6 readings of this registered valuer and valuation rules, because they will ask very simple but tricky questions from this, and you have to be very sure about the contents of the rules, because they treat these rules as the Bible for the valuers. So they want every registered valuer to be thorough with these rules. You have to be very sure about what is written in the rules, Model Code of Conduct, Annexure 1, which talks about that. So you have to be very sure about the the valuation rules. And apart from that, you can also refer, I would say, ICAI valuation standard here. Apart from valuation rules, ICAI valuation standard, if I would say, you can give a plain reading to that, because all the concept mentioned in those valuation standard you will be reading in the further chapters of when we will talk about the later contents of the valuation core here only. So from ICAI valuation standard, you can just read about this integrity and fairness, remuneration in cost, and ethical considerations. All these are covered in the valuation standard. So you can go through that portion also for these two topics. And apart from valuation standard, the model code of conduct and the registered valuers and valuation rules are most important. So you have to have at least 5 or 6 readings of this valuation rules. Okay, now regarding journal laws, this carries 18 marks. This is a substantial portion of your 100 marks, and they what they want to ask here is the content is very huge. Also, you can see that they want to ask Companies Act, Transfer of Property, Indian Stamp Act, Income Tax Act, IBC, certain portion of IBC also, SARFAC, then SEBI, then RBI, FEMA guidelines also. So the content here is very huge, I would say. But if you see that in Companies Act, they are not asking very specific questions. They are not. I don't think that they have asked any specific question from this, apart from this registered valuers rule, chapter 17. Of course, this is important because we are valuers, and we have to be very sure with the chapter 17 portion, which is a single section chapter, so you need not worry much about that. So in case of Transfer of Property Act, they want to judge the basic remembrance power, I would say, of yours, and they are asking the very basic concept regarding the mortgage of property, rights and liabilities of mortgager, and they are also asking about gift transactions also in case. So Transfer of Property Act, 2 questions may be there, 1 or 2 questions may be there, and they are quite simple. They are not much advanced question they are asking. Again, in Stamp Act also they are asking very basic questions, evaluation of duty regarding ad valorem duty and all. So very simple, not much technical or very deep knowledge is not required for this. But Income Tax Act also, because it covers so many concepts in Income Tax Act, and you cannot read each and everything for income tax. So your general knowledge about income tax, I would say, as a professional, everyone knows about income tax. So your general knowledge about this act would suffice. In Income Tax Act, especially with regard to valuation under Rule 11 UA, we have to be very sure with the method prescribed, net asset value, or the DCF, because presently they have also started to ask numerical questions also from this rule. So be careful about this rule while you prepare for the Income Tax Act. Apart from that, your basic knowledge on Income Tax Act would suffice. So next, if we talk about IBC, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, so IBBI being the mother institution of this IBC, they are asking about IBC code, but in valuation paper they are only asking the timelines and the very key areas from the IBC. They are not going into very much detail of regulations and rules, etc. So they are asking basic question. But yes, you have to read, and I would say you should read from the BEAR Act, the code itself. Not go for any other source. Just read from the code, but try to limit your studies to the very basic and the time limits portion of the IBC. Do not go for much details for this IBC, at least for RB paper, definitely. For whenever you are going to appear for IP, Insolvency Professional Examination, then too you have to read thoroughly the IBC, the code. But for the time being, for RB paper, you can only go through the timelines and the basic concepts like definitions and all. Regarding SARFAC, again, questions are there. Questions were there in from this act also, and basic questions like who is the prescribed authorized officer under SARFAC, and net owned fund limit of asset reconstruction company, and all these types of questions. So basic questions they ask. They're not asking very advanced questions. And this is SEBI and RBI, I would say. In SEBI portion, look, SEBI guidelines are very voluminous. You cannot cover all the valuation regulations for your RB paper, but you can definitely go through the PPTs you must have got from the faculty of your RBOs. They are very crisp. They have actually put in their hard work for preparation of these PPTs. So you can go through the PPT for SARFAC, and this would suffice for this. And in RBI and FEMA, I would say, prudential norms for classification. This is a very important aspect. They are actually directly asking one or two questions every time from this thing. Yeah, these two are very important for the exam point of view, because they are actually asking the question directly from here. And apart from this, for SEBI and RBI, I would say the PPTs which are in circulation by the faculties, or from whatever source you are getting the PPT, which is meant for the RB examination purpose, that would suffice. You can quickly go through the concepts and remember those, because in SEBI and FEMA portion, your remembrance powers is only tested. You cannot have any conceptual clarity here. The remembrance is important here. So if we talk about financial reporting under Ind AS, so initially in the earlier version of syllabus, it was only Ind AS 113 there, but now the syllabus applicable for us is from 1st of June. The syllabus which we are studying is it has here 4 standard, but effectively there are 5 standard, I would say. Ind AS 38 intangible assets, this is also there in the course, which has been not mentioned in the topic number 5, but it is there, covered later. We will see also that. So if I talk about this, so in this you have to be I would say one, reading from the bare text of these Ind AS, which is available on the MCA Ind AS MCA website. You have to have a basic reading from that website, from that bare text itself, and at least of the bold portion. The Act has a bold portion there, so the highlighted or the bold portion, you have to read that and understand it also. Do not just read and understand that portion. And apart from that, if I say the general thing, you have to be very sure about the scope and definition of each of the Ind AS. So if suppose you have picked up an Ind AS 113, so first of all, go to the bare Act and definitions, scope, and then recognition and measurement. That is an important. And for disclosure part, I would say, friends, business combinations and 113, the disclosure of these 2 standards, questions have been asked in exam also. So for other standard, I would not lay stress on any of the disclosure for those standard, but for business combinations and fair value measurement, I would say that you will be asked direct question about the disclosures to be made as per the standard. They will give you 4 options, and you have to tick mark, or you have to select the correct option, that which of the following is a disclosure requirement as per Ind AS 113 or Ind AS 103. So apart from these 2, for others you need to just be sure about the scope, definitions, recognition and measurement criteria. So friends, this topic number 6 is I can say the lifeline, or the main the main heart of the valuation syllabus. This actually carries, if I see topic wise, so it's 4 plus 3 7, 42, and 42 odd, 42 plus this 2 case marks, case laws also 44, I would say, and this 20. 44 plus 20 is 64. So you can say odd 60 marks weightage is from the valuation portion only. 60 marks weightage, and it is a huge one to go through. So if I talk about the base material, I would say ICAI valuation material, which is available, ICAI material, that is sufficient for getting clarity over the overview of valuation, the basic concept regarding the valuation. But in that ICAI study mat also, you have to be very sure that you actually understand the terms here, because these are very important. If you do not understand the terms and just read them and believing that you have understood, you will not be able to answer the questions asked in the exam. This I can surely tell you. So if you are going to like suppose if you are going to read this types of value, fair market value, fair value, intrinsic value, then you have to be really sure and you understand what all these terms means. So in valuation especially, do not take it for granted and understand that I can cram this or I'll remember this. No, you have to actually understand the concept. because without understanding the concept, you will not be able to secure marks in this portion, valuation portion, I would say. And so ICAI material is the base where you can get the contents of these two topics, I would say 6 and 7, clearly mentioned in the ICAI valuation material, study material. ICAI RVO I'm talking about. That is quite simple and you can get a fair idea about the contents. But if you are not able to get all the concepts from the ICAI study material, you can also do Google also. You have to be sure about each and every concept of this, like mid-year convention. It is there in the ICAI valuation study material. So you have to be very sure about each and every concept mentioned in the syllabus. You have to do the revision and everything word by word. So if I talk about this further, ICAI RVO study material is the base material from which you can start for the valuation portion. And as I told you that conceptual clarity is very much important in this, because this is the crux of our registered valuer examination, and you have to be sure about each and every term mentioned in the syllabus. You know the meaning and you know the legal implication, or you know the basic aspect of it. So this is very essential for scoring marks in this section. And valuation approaches, again ICAI RVO material is the base material from which you can study. But even if you are not satisfied, or you do not find the meaning of any term mentioned over here, then you have to do Google and understand the concept thoroughly. Look, say if you are doing a concept of any like replacement cost or market approach or quoted market price or anything, you are doing any concept from the ICAI RVO material, and you are not sure about you're not got the understanding about the concept, or if you are reading something and you have found a certain word regarding which you are not clear, then you have to immediately go to Google and find out the meaning, because conceptual clarity is very much important. You cannot read and just leave it, chalo theek hai, we will see. This cannot be adopted for this valuation core thing. You have to immediately go to Google and find out the meaning, build your concepts, clear your understanding, and then move further. Otherwise, you will not be able to score here. Valuation application, I would say ICAI material has given fair good things, try to cover all the concept, but still if you are not sure with the concepts, you need to do Google also here. And if I talk about this FIMDA guidelines, these are FIMDA guidelines. These are very important for exam point of view, because they are actually asking direct question from FIMDA guidelines. And the guideline which was the circular which is applicable for us is 29th March 2019 circular of FIMDA is applicable for us. So you have to be actually you have to remember here the various guidelines, who is the valuer, who is the rate issuing authority, FIMDA and all. You have to remember all these concepts. Apart from this, you have to understand all this. FIMDA you have to memorize, but in case of other, like what are money market instruments, what per se is money market instrument, you have to be very sure about the content of this, control premium, discount premium, everything. You have to be sure about the concept of that. Regarding valuation option models, Black-Scholes model, they are not asking numericals from here till now. Till 5th of January, they were not asking any numerical from here. But yes, from binomial, they are actually asking the numericals. Monte Carlo is again a theoretical based technique. As of now, they are asking simple theory questions from here. But from binomial, they are very much asking the numerical problems, and they have also made them very technical also. So binomial, you have to be very thorough for theory as well as the practical portion. So remember I was mentioning about Ind AS. So here Ind AS 38 would come into picture, and you have to be sure with the contents of Ind AS 38, because this intangible assets portion is nothing but all Ind AS 38. So you have to read the Ind AS 38 in detail. And if we move further, situation specific evaluation. So ICAI material has not much content about this. They have just covered in 4 or 5 pages. So you have to be like you have to visit maybe you can refer a PPT prepared from prepared by a faculty of the RVO, your RVO, or you have to do Google for these things. You have to search for the content for these valuation, because they are not asking direct questions, but they can ask any concept, like for insurance companies they can ask the concept of float or the ratio which they are relying on. So you have to have a fair idea about, not very deep, but you have to have a basic idea about the valuation in these kind of situations. So this is also very important. I would say valuation portion is entirely important. You cannot take lightly regarding any of the contents covered here for the valuation portion, because valuation is the thing we are doing now. So that is why you cannot take it lightly. So regarding judicial pronouncement are there, 6 case laws are there. They are very clear and direct case laws. If you have time, you can go through the entire case law, but frankly I have not gone through the entire case law, because these carries a just 2 marks weighted, and the time required for reading all these case laws in detail was very less. So I have just gone through the couple of MCQs which were shared with by my faculty from ICSI RView. So I have just referred those for the preparation of this topic. And the last is case studies. If I talk about case studies, so this becomes the deciding factor for your clearing and non-clearing of this examination. So as I told you earlier also, case study of 20 marks is quite predictable, and you can score well if you have practiced for the concepts WACC, bond valuation concepts, startup valuation, and equity business valuation, and binomial distribution also nowadays they have started asking. So these are the basic things. These are the main key areas being asked in this case studies, and you have to be really practice. You have to really practice these concepts before appearing into the exam, because you have understood the question, you have got it from some source, and you have understood it. But the moment you try to appear, try to solve that in examination situation with Excel or Apache, whatever is available to you, it at times becomes difficult, or maybe because of the exam stress you're not actually able to solve it. So I would say give special stress on this case study portion, because the day your case studies are through, you are done, you have scored 18 or 16 in your case study out of 20, the chances of clearing of examination of yours is pretty high. Because the theory is uncertain, you cannot be sure about the theory portion from where they can ask. But in the case studies, the question of number of questions they are being asked are not very unpredictable, and they are quite limited, I would say, till now, till the time. Because Black-Scholes is not being asked as a numerical as of now, and the concept being asked from the in the numerical portion are quite simple, and they are not very much technical. You can practice them, and you can easily solve them in examination, and you will be through with that. So this was your entire 100 marks paper coverage. I hope I was able to share my experience with you all. And in the last, I would only like to say that for clearing this examination, please do not feel demotivated, because it takes minimum 2-3 attempts, unless you are not practicing, you are CFA or you are actually handling valuation cases. So in that case, you'll be through in 1 or 2 attempts. But in case you are a non-valuation person, it takes 3 or 4 attempts for you to clear the exam. Do not lose heart for that, and be consistent, be persistent, and try to clear it. Do not take gap of much longer gap in between 2 attempts. If you are appearing today and you could not clear and your margin was very less, then try to book the slot, earliest slot possible, and appear for that, because the chances of your clearing in that attempt would be more. So my best wishes for you all, and in case you need any material or any guidance from my side, I am always available for friends and well-wishers. So Thank you for watching this video. Stay connected, stay safe.